So guys, I've asked Tracy to share some of the resources that GPB has for you. I can't tell you how good these resources are. They really are going to make your job easier. I see these as being activities that you can use to fill in some of the gaps in your lessons. I also see them as being very engaging for the students. I want to thank Tracy for sharing her expertise and her resources with us. All of this stuff is free, and she's going to show you how you can share it several different ways, but one of the easiest ways is to share it all through Google Classroom. And there's a nice little handy button that you just click and share with your class. So I hope you will get a lot out of this. Please know that Tracy is very responsive to email. If you have questions, I'll respond as well if you have questions about this. Just want to thank you for taking time out of today to be able to jump in with us. So Tracy, take it away.
Thank you, Donald. Yes, I taught science for over 20 years, pre-K through college. So it's been fun this week putting together resource lists and presentations for early childhood education all the way through 12th grade science. It's been fun for me too. So thank you guys for having me. We're recording this right now because Donald would like to share it with those teachers who are not available. But thank you guys for joining us live. And please do jump in with questions or comments. That always makes these sessions a lot more engaging when we get your feedback, because of course you have your own unique perspectives and ideas, and so it always helps make it more fun. So please don't be shy to unmute yourself or to throw something in the chat box. We'll be happy to incorporate that into the session today. So I have organized everything today in a Nearpod. Nearpod is a product that I do not sell. It's just something I really enjoy using because it helps me to organize all of my content in one place, and it works really well in a virtual setting. Since I can't be with you, I can present this structure to you, and there are embedded links, embedded activities. So we can do this synchronously like we're doing now, where I'm actually walking you through the slideshow, but I'm also going to share this asynchronously with Donald and everyone who registered so that they can go through it on their own time, this whole slideshow. So you can go through slowly, slide to slide, you can click on the embedded links, you can just take your time and review it at any point. So keep that in mind, that you can join the presentation now live at join.nearpod.com and enter that code KGSUV. Or you can just watch it in the future when I send it to you. The benefit of doing it live right now is that when I go down the rabbit hole, you can follow me and you can go to the sites I'm going to and explore yourself. There are also some embedded activities that I have, so you can see what that's like from the student perspective if you join the Nearpod now. There's also a note-taking feature. So in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little digital pen and paper, so you can even take notes on the slides as we move along. So there's some benefits of going live, but also just feel free to watch. I do also have a resource list that I've created as a companion document for this presentation, and that's because we can't get through all of the resources in an hour. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of resources that are appropriate for secondary earth science, and so I'm just going to highlight a few standards aligned resources, but feel free to look at this list on your own time throughout the school year. Not going anywhere. I'm just going to click on it so you can see what it looks like. Very straightforward document, has my contact information, but also on the left, the main hosts of the content, and on the right, specific links to very specific content. So here we've got live explorations, things explained, a lot of PBS learning media collections. So again, you can use this anytime throughout the year if you're just looking for ideas. I've tried to group them, into like space versus climate and weather. So keep in mind that the way to add something to this resource list, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to expand it even more. The third thing is just a little points where we're going to be going. So besides this Nearpod, I'm also going to be pulling up separate tabs of PBS Learning Media and GPB, just so you can see how I got there. Of course, you can follow them through the Nearpod or through the resource list, but you can also just go to the websites directly and find them that way. So I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. Please feel free to jump in with questions. I'm going to try and move relatively quickly to get through the hour, but I will certainly stop if you have specific questions. Donald or any of the teachers, just jump in, or if you want to add things, would love to hear your perspective. So welcome, secondary earth science educators. We're gonna go ahead and jump in. We've got physical and life after this, so a full day of fun science. So our goals today is really focus on that earth science resources and not just the content, because of course, content can be a little overwhelming, but also just how to introduce the content in engaging ways, especially virtually with your kids. And so we're gonna do a little bit of that as well. So the first section we're gonna visit today is GPB. Because we create our own content, it always has like a Georgia spin, and that's kind of useful when you're really trying to get your kids engaged in content. If they know it's, you know, from a place down the street or a place where their grandparents live or a place they visited, it really helps for them to be able to connect the science to a physical place that they may be familiar with or know that they can access. So we're going to highlight, first of all, the content that we have curated for you specifically for mandated school closings and for the situation we're in. And also I'm going to be highlighting some of our video series that have associated teacher resources that I think are particularly useful for earth science. So first of all, our curated favorites, and this really, most of this is going to be within our Georgia Home Classroom. So I've been kind of reviewing this at the beginning of every session because it came out in March and teachers may or may not have had a chance to look at it. But since then we have updated it, expanded it, and so wanted to make sure that you were aware again that it exists. This is a resource we put together with the Georgia Department of Education. And actually teachers from all over the country are using this, even though it's aligned to Georgia standards. A lot of states do not have this resource where teachers can go in and find free content that is aligned to specific, you know, teaching topics. So there are three different parts to this. First of all is just where to find the resources and their alignments. Second is the getting ready for K-3 guides, which is obviously not relevant for you, but feel free to share it with your elementary teachers. This is to help kids get ready for the fall, just some basic PDFs. And then the broadcast schedule. Now the broadcast schedule is with the realization that not all of our kids have access to Wi-Fi or one-to-one technology all the time. So some of them may be getting a lot of their education through television, and PBS, of course, has broadcast schedule. We've expanded it, GPB, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so it is divided by grade bands as well. So if you click on that broadcast schedule, you may not want your kids, your older children necessarily, to go in at 6 a.m. and watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but you'll notice as you scroll down, it gets a little bit older. It looks like this week is not. Usually there's a grade band in the middle for older kids where they have Nova and Nature. So I'll have to ask about that, where that went. So this year, maybe because we're still in summer, it's just more of younger kids. But for the last school year, there was a grade band right around 1 to 3 where it was for older kids. And like I said, things like things that appeal to the older children. So keep that in mind, check back on that and see if they've expanded it for the school year. So I want to focus on the Find Learning Resources. I'm going to click on that first blue box. And it takes you to that page where if you scroll down, you'll see that it is aligned by grade level. So it starts with pre-K, of course. And I'm going to keep on going, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. And then we're going to get into earth science for sixth grade. So I'm going to click on the science under sixth grade here. And it's going to open up resources specifically for you, earth science. And Donald or Deborah or Gianna, are they from a middle or high school?
So, go ahead, Deborah.
You guys
Middle school.
Okay.
Middle school. Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. Because I know we had some high school teachers yesterday with Phil and social studies, so I just want to make sure. So good, sixth grade. So you can see it starts off right at the beginning with S6E1. So of course it starts at the beginning and it tells you where the source is. They're all free, of course. What it is, it's an activity, describes the activity and aligns it to the standards. And as you scroll down, every single standard that you're responsible for has a link to a free resource. So this is a great place to start if you're looking for supplemental resources. Just go to this page and then click on all the ones that are aligned, S6E2, S6E2, S6E3, and you'll see that there's about 2 or 3 per standard, and it's just a great way to maybe start and look for some resources, because these were highlighted by the Department of Education as being particularly useful for that standard. And then if you don't find it there, you can of course go back out to GPB or PBS and look elsewhere. But that's a good starting point. And that Georgia Home Classroom, I have put a link here in the resource list so you can get it there, or you can go to gpb.org and find it on our webpage. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some very specific video series, and some of the videos that really focus on earth science for middle school. The first one I wanted to highlight is Things Explained. So this is a series that we created probably 2-3 years ago in response to requests to address things that are very timely and Georgia specific that are going on around us. So the latest one we released is on PPE. As you can imagine, you know, with things happening now, we're trying to release videos that are timely. So this is PPE in Georgia specifically. But we've also throughout the years released videos on hurricanes, on the implosion of the Georgia Dome and the building of the Mercedes-Benz from an eco-friendly design. We have buoyancy, you know, what makes ships float, the solar eclipse. So we're constantly releasing these videos that are aligned to science standards and are very timely. So again, if there's something that you would like to see with this Georgia spin that aligns to your standards that would help you, please reach out to me, because it's your ideas that we turn into these videos. So you have a lot of control and influence in what we actually produce. So that is one video series I wanted to highlight for you. And of course, you guys probably already know this, was just to emphasize you know, the alignments here. It comes up. So that is not the right number, S7L5, but this is obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about the effects of the relative positions of the sun, earth, and moon. Construct an explanation of the cause of solar and lunar eclipses. So wanted to make sure that you guys realize that this one on the solar eclipse and how it came to Georgia is aligned to that standard. And you can see that this particular video, it's relatively short. It's just 3.5 minutes long. So you could even watch this probably synchronously with your kids. It's relatively short. And you see it is aligned to the standards here. And it has that Georgia perspective on solar eclipse. So of course, there's lots of content out there about solar eclipses, but maybe not necessarily what it looks like in Georgia, how it affected us a few years ago. So that might be something you want to include as part of your content when you get to that standard. And here's also another one. Sorry, I've got the number wrong again. I'll update that. But this talks about obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about how the sun, that standard, it is aligned to this episode on hurricanes, which we produced last hurricane season. And of course, we're back in hurricane season again this year. Yep. So this is very timely as well. And again, this is aligned to that standard. There's this standards alignments here. It does come with some discussion questions as part of the support materials. And this again is a Georgia perspective. What does hurricane season look like in Georgia? So we are currently, even though this is a GPB content, we also publish our GPB content on PBS Learning Media. So you'll find it in several locations. So I just wanted to highlight that all this doesn't look like GPB. You can find on GPB as well. We also have a YouTube channel, and I'll show you where that is too. So we're going to get into PBS in just a minute, and I'll show you how to find your way around. So those are two specific videos that we have created at GPB that really kind of focus on Georgia perspective. And there's one other series I want to highlight for you. This is called Fast Forward, and this is about careers in Georgia. So it's a great way to take those standards and align them with, you know, what kids are interested in, what career they may be considering, and just expand their horizon in terms of what's available to them for what they might want to study in school or you know, pursue as a trade. So these videos, again, very valuable. They're cheeky, they're fun. They are, of course, only in Georgia. So again, kids may recognize some of these locations. But you can see as you scroll down that there's lots of places that sound familiar, right? Coca-Cola, Southwire, some of these state parks are Six Flags, Raleigh Studios, so some of the film industry, King of Pop. So lots of places that kids will recognize, and they may not necessarily know what kind of jobs and careers are available working in those locations. So it's a fun series to introduce to them, and lots of standards alignments. So I want to highlight one of them, which aligns to this particular standard. And this is on the Weather Channel. So we forget sometimes the weather channels here in Georgia. There's lots of opportunities to work for them. So this particular one in the Piedmont area where we are, and as you scroll down, you'll see that it is a little short video, about 5.5 minutes long. There's a description of it and some extras. They do break out some science concepts from the video. So this also talks about chroma key, dew points, you know, feels like versus actual temperature, types of clouds, what is lightning, what is weather, growing seasons, and the Weather Channel in general. So these are like little 1-minute videos that are pulled out of this larger 5-minute sort of explanation. So I'm just going to play just the beginning of it because I think once you get the flavor of these, they are definitely not boring. So we're going to do a little bit of this one, again, aligned to those weather standards, but in a fun, engaging approach.
And we'll continue to bring you more updates on severe thunderstorms developing across the plains. Wait a minute, is that a giant cat behind me? Oh, I've had it.
Welcome to another episode of Fast Forward. Today we're just outside of Atlanta visiting one of my favorite places, the Weather Channel. You see, I'm kind of a knucklehead when it comes to weather. At least I thought I was until I met some of the people who work here.
I love clouds.
I love seeing thunderstorms bubble on the horizon.
My name's Danielle, and I'm a cloudaholic.
Yep, these folks are really into weather. So let's start with the tough questions. We've all seen movies with tornadoes. Can a tornado really make a cow fly?
Yes, a tornado can make a cow fly, and unfortunately, it's happened.
Cool. Kind of like cow tipping, taken to the extreme?
So it actually does get into some science. It's just, this is the fun introduction to get kids engaged. That's the first minute, is really just to kind of get them thinking about weather in a different way. And then it starts going into some of the, the science of weather. But of course, it's always that cheeky kind of approach. So there are, several of these that are aligned to your standards specifically. So I would definitely try and bring them in when you can, just to keep things light and give kids an idea of where they can work. So I wanted to show you too how to find these on YouTube, because of course you can find them, as I mentioned, on GPB, you can find them on PBS. But if you're just looking for a way to just grab a video easily and embed it in something, we do have our YouTube channel. And you can see that we have all these various playlists here. And under the playlist, you'll be able to find there's Things Explained PPE. We just did that one, the Things Explained series, and then the Fast Forward series. It's on here too. History Matters. There it is, Fast Forward right here. So the whole playlist here as well, maybe a little bit easier to get to if you're just looking for videos. It won't, of course, have the associated resources with them, but if you're just looking for a video to plug in, that's a good place to go for ease. All right, so that's pretty much it for GPB. Really just wanted to highlight the Georgia Home Classroom for you and those 2 video series, Things Explained and Fast Forward, that align to those standards on climate, specifically like eclipses and solar system, in the solar system, and then hurricanes. Any questions or thoughts on those before we move into the next section?
No.
Thank you. Just want to make sure I put some natural pauses so it's not just me droning on. You guys can give me some guidance if you need it. All right, so the next section, we're going to go to PBS Learning Media. So that was GPB, we're going to go to PBS, and I want to focus on 3 different areas. Again, the kind of content they have, it's all GSE aligned, how to find your way around. I want to highlight some of my favorites. Says Life, sorry, it's supposed to say Earth. I'll have to go back and redo these. I did 6 of these, and so they got a little mixed up with some. And then strategies and grab and go lesson plans. Okay, so here's PBS Learning Media. If you're not familiar with this, I just want to kind of show you what it looks like. So I have logged into my account. You can create an account. It's completely free with an email or with Google Classroom or with Facebook. Once you log in, then you'll see you have access to your dashboard, your favorites, your folders. You can assign things. You can create tools like puzzles and assessments and storyboards. So there's a lot going on when you create an account, but you don't have to create an account, and your kids do not have to create an account, and your parents don't. So anything you share from this site, all you have to do is copy the link and they can see it. So that's just recommended as a teacher because it's easier to manipulate the site with an account, but your kids don't necessarily need to. As Donald mentioned, it is linked to Google Classroom. So it's one way to get your kids connected to this is just through your Google Classroom. And there's no extra work. You just literally link it in one step. So you'll see here that at the top, there are different ways to search. You can search by subject. So if you click on subject here, there's Earth Science. Click on subject, sorry. on subject, and there's Earth Science right at the top. And so if you click on Earth Science, it pulls up all of the resources for Earth Science. You can filter by grade, of course, if you want to just go in and filter like maybe just 5th through 8, just kind of give it a little bit wider, you know, grade band, so they can kind of make sure you don't miss anything for the different you know, learning levels and types that you have. And then you can narrow it down by type if you want. So you can pick videos or interactives like games or lesson plans. Lots of things to choose from: images, documents, whole collections. And then you can sort them by relevance or popularity or newest. So you can start to narrow down what you're looking for. On the left side, of course, are these subtopics. So that's one way to find your way through some of this Earth and space science content. You can also search by grade, of course. I wouldn't just middle school. It's a little bit, it's not my favorite way to do it, so I'd recommend the subject, but this is another way you can play with it and see what works best for you. You can search by standards. This one is a little clunky, I think. They are improving it, but you may find that it works for you, but you can't actually search by a specific GSE. And one of the ways I like to search is this search for nothing to get everything. So I like to just kind of hit the magnifying glass without any keyword in it. And that will pull up everything. So 32,340 results. That's changed since we were just here last hour, Donald. So they're always adding new results.
Yeah.
So it's gone up, yeah. So you'll find it pulls up everything. And then you can go over here and start to narrow down by, you know, grade band if you want to over here, like give a nice wide grade band for middle school. Then you can pick science, you can pick Earth Science, and you'll see it starts to narrow it down. So now I'm down to 3,368. There's of course all these subtopics you can pick, or you can go down here and start to pick type. Like if you're just looking for videos, you can click on that. You can even pick languages. There's some in Spanish. And then you can pick accessibility features like closed captioning, whether it comes with a transcript, and then even whether or not the video is downloadable or comes with teacher resources. So lots of ways you can kind of narrow down into what you're looking for. So that's just a really, really quick overview of PBS Learning Media. Let me know if you have any questions. I really feel like this is an intuitive site. I don't do a lot of training just on how to, because it's, you know, I think we know pretty well how to find things from searching Google all the time. And this is just much more, has a lot more search features and filters to help you as teachers. So I want to focus on, again, here's the Earth Science and Space Science that we just looked at, but I want to focus on some collections that I really identified as being some of my favorites, just from spending so much time over the past 4 years in the site. So one of the first collections I wanted to identify is Nova. Of course, you know, we take Nova that it's out there and it's a great resource. So I clicked on, under Nova, you see you can choose physical science, you can choose life science. I've chosen Earth and Space Science, and under that are the subtopics of Earth's place in the universe, Earth systems, and Earth and human activity. As you see here, you can share the entire Earth and Space Science to your Google Classroom. That may be overwhelming, but you can share this entire collection. Or you can scroll down and you can just pick, you know, specific pieces that you like. There are 120 different resources all about Earth's place in the universe. What is the universe? What is Earth's place in it? So you can see, you know, different things about our solar system, the sun. I'm just opening it up there. So there's interactives. Here's the Sun Lab interactive. Here's an entire lesson plan on black holes. So just a lot of very interesting content here. The video is relatively short, you know, 4 minutes long, 3.5 minutes long. This one's 9. That's the longest one I've seen so far. So they, again, are pretty good for sharing with kids, keeping their attention video and say, watch that and tell me all you've learned. Again, some documents. So 5 pages of content just on Earth's place in the solar system, which is, you know, of course, very appropriate for what you guys are teaching. So that's one, again, very comprehensive collection I'd recommend. I would also recommend It's Okay to Be Smart. This is actually my favorite. I think you're nodding your head.
I love It's Okay to Be Smart.
I do too. I've been watching a lot lately because he's been putting out things on the pandemic too. But just, again, very cheeky, fun, but so informative, and again, really packs a punch in a short space. And he doesn't go too fast. It's a little quick, but it's not such a long video. You can't watch it more than once, and you know, and have your kids watch it a couple of times. But just the way that he approaches it is very engaging. So I've highlighted climate and earth science. here, and it says for grades 9 through 12, but I really don't think that that's quite true. I really believe it's perfectly fine for 6th graders. Don't you, Donald? This content, yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of it is complex, but just the way he portrays it is very accessible. So lots of, what's really warming the earth. Here's one about hurricanes, which, is in the standards we just talked about. The smell of rain. Why do clouds stay up? Why does Earth have layers? So you can see it's right on target for what you guys are teaching. Some of them are relatively short, 3.5 minutes. Some are a little bit longer, 10 and 44. But I think through these, you can definitely find something that you can use. And I use these a lot with instructional hooks and with instructional strategies because they really get the kids engaged. And it's a fun way to start off a topic. Or if they're starting to, get a little losing interest, you can pull one of these out to grab them back. And then this other collection is called Bringing the Universe to America's Classroom. Again, a very robust collection. We've got 50 interactives, 19 lesson plans, 92 videos, 71 media galleries, so quite a lot going on here. But you can click on the grades 6 through 8 on the left, and it will hone it down a little bit just on space, the story of Earth, weather and climate, and waves. So again, very appropriate for what you're teaching. And not just videos, there's entire lesson plans, media galleries, interactives. There's 24 on space, 11 on Earth, 11 on weather and climate, and this one on waves, this media gallery. So again, I just want to emphasize, these are my favorite collections. These 3 are my favorite collections just for overall content on Earth and space science. So if you're looking for a place to start, I would start with the Georgia Home Classroom. If you don't find what you're looking for, maybe go into these 3 collections and see if you can find some content to support you. So I want to focus on this one, obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to show how Earth's surface is formed. So we're going to develop a model to show how natural processes and human activity change rocks and the surface of the Earth. So plate tectonics, earthquakes, volcanoes, we know this standard. And I want to focus on this one, the story of Earth that I just showed you, but this particular section goes a lot into that, earthquakes and volcanoes, coastline change, Earth's ever-changing surface, killer landslides, impact craters. So again, lots and lots of content specifically for that one standard. So I would definitely, it seems like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there's 11. So 11 pieces of content that you could look through and see if you can find something that aligns in the way you like it to. This other one about the origins of the universe and determine changes in models of Earth's position in the solar system. Just wanted to highlight that one. And this, I want to highlight a new collection called Space Time. And I highlighted Earth and the solar system from this particular collection. This one, I think, again, is very well done, very fun. You can see just by some of the titles, 5 ways to stop a killer asteroid. Like, this is the way to get your middle schoolers engaged, right? White Christmas in Australia, the leap second explained, we are star stuff, what physics teachers get wrong about tides. So that's a great way to go in, right? What I have a hard time learning, what will destroy planet Earth. You can start there, right? First day of school,
Yeah.
So let's talk about serious issues, right? What could destroy our planet?
Yeah, because that's what we want to do. We want to add more anxiety to the kids' lives, right?
Let's just distract them.
Gotcha.
So again, that middle schoolers love this kind of stuff. So that's what I think I really enjoy about this collection, that it's very, it goes straight to some of these fun topics. And these are a little bit longer, they're about 8 to 12 minutes long. This one's 5.5. This one's short, 2.5. But so it's a little bit longer. So you may want to give these to them asynchronously, give them a chance to look at it, and then use some of these associated resources that come with them. So this one, for instance, has some teaching tips. So it's not just, you're not just on your own completely. You've got some things to help you get started with them. It's not just a video on its own.
Tracy, will you show them how to assign it in Google Classroom? Or
yes, thank you. I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot. Yep. So let's do that one about the killer asteroids. Why not? So I'll just search for asteroid. And so we've got, here we go, NOVA, Asteroid Doomsday or Payday. So if I decide I really like this video from NOVA, it's about 6 minutes long. It comes with some great support materials, discussion questions, standards alignments. I can download it and embed it that way if you'd like. but I can also hit this share to Google Classroom. So if I click on, if I decide I really like this video, want them to watch it, want them to answer questions or something around it, I can click on share. You see it'll pull up my Google Classroom here. Then I can choose my class. So I just have my demonstration class, it's loading. I think my computer's tired already. I'm gonna have to go and clear the cache after 3 in a row. So it's having a hard time loading my classroom, but you guys know what this looks like. It'll put your classes here when it's loading. You'll pick your class, you'll hit go, and then it'll ask you to give it a title, give it a description. That's where you can, you know, put in some directions for your students on how you want them to use this particular content. It'll give you a place where you can choose the number of points you want and then a due date, of course. There we go. So I'm going to click my class. I'm going to choose my action, which is to create an assignment. I'm going to hit go, and then I'm going to, there's my title there. I'll just do that, and I'll put here in my instructions. Yeah.
I'm still showing on my screen anyway, the PBS Learning Media page. It may have opened in another window, maybe.
Oh, darn. Okay, so you can't see that little Google
I see your cursor moving, but it's still over the
Classroom box.
I see your cursor moving, but it's still on the PBS Learning Media page.
Okay. Did you see it before? Because I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, you did. I saw it before.
Okay. It may just be that my computer's having trouble loading.
Deborah, what did you say?
We never did see it.
Yeah.
It's still on that Nova page
Okay.
Yeah.
with the video.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, Donald and I did this earlier in an earlier session. He was able to see it, so I'm not sure why you can't see it now because I did the same thing. So it could just be I'm having trouble loading. Let me try it again. Share to Google Classroom. I see it popped up right here, but you guys can't see it, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah, because I'm not doing anything different.
So Deborah, I'll put together the how-to on that, but I just wanted you guys to see, like literally, it is just a couple of clicks. And
Yeah, I think I've done it before, like when I've gone on that Dogo News or Dogo News, whatever it's called, and they have that option.
Okay.
And you know, if you click on it, it'll pop up a little window, and you just pick which class you want to put it in and all that.
Yeah. And so Tracy's going to show you some of the interactive lessons that you can assign where the students actually, you know, interact with the website, not just watch a video. It will actually upload their work into Google Classroom, save it for you. So you don't have to, you know, worry about having them take a screenshot or anything like that to share their work with you. It'll dump it all right there for you in Google Classroom. So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Tracy, I'll try to put together a little video on my end showing how to do that. It'll be good practice for me too.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It really is very
okay.
easy, like you said. It's just like picking your class, giving it a title, giving a description, picking points, picking a due date, and hitting go. I think it's 5 steps.
Yep. And it's not just for videos. It's for the interactive lessons, all of that kind of stuff. That's one of the things I think that teachers seem to think we're just going to be sharing videos the whole time, and that's not what we want. Simulations for the lab activities, those kind of things, where the students are actually doing some interaction, especially because our Chromebooks are screen touch. So,
Yeah.
So the kids can do a little bit more with them.
All right.
That's perfect. All right, so I wanted to pause here and talk a little bit about instructional strategy. So even if you do just have a video, embed the videos with, so I just want to highlight one and where I got it from. So this particular document we've put together is just GPB's favorite sources of instructional strategies. So there's 3, this Facing History, Harvard's Project Zero, and the University of Oklahoma. And the one that I want to highlight today that just talks about where they are, summaries about them, very short document. I want to highlight Harvard's Project Zero here. So if you click on this link, and you guys have access to this document, it is not going anywhere, so you can just follow it anytime you want. If you click on that link, it takes you to Harvard's Project Zero Thinking Routine Toolbox. And it really is a toolbox. It's so well designed. So if you scroll down, it talks about, you know, all these different literacy and learning skills that are used in these strategies. But I really like this feature here where you can search by teaching subject. So if you click on that and click on science, it highlights all of the strategies in green that are really great for science learning. So see, think, wonder, connect, extend, challenge, compass points. So if you click on any of these, it will take you into an explanation of the teaching strategy and how to do it, how it can work. And they're all great for virtual learning. I've spent a lot of time just exploring this site and coming up with some of my favorites. So I would keep that in mind if you're looking for ways to take like a video or an image or a podcast and sort of tweak it with some engaging learning strategies besides just answer this question or fill in, you know, this document. These are other ways to approach it. So the one that I want to do today, this is called myth busting, and it goes with S6E4, obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about how the sun, land, and water affect climate and weather. The only thing for this is I do need you guys to log into the Nearpod to do this. And since there are only 3 of you, it shouldn't take too long. If you don't mind, just if you could pull up on a separate browser, join.nearpod.com. John, would you mind doing that too? So we can just see how it works.
Yep.
Join.nearpod.com. So I want you guys to see how this works in a synchronous environment. So if you were to do this with your
Wait, where did she go?
kids in real time like we're doing now. So join.nearpod.com on a separate little browser window and then type in the code KGSUV. It should be really simple. It'll ask for your name. Just put your name. So you just need to really input that code in your name.
Where did she go on my screen?
Me?
Okay. Join Nearpod.
Join.nearpod.com.
Are you getting on there?
KGSUV.
I don't, my screen is like, okay, when this is up, oh my goodness.
You'll probably have to do it like a separate window or a separate browser.
Wait, where did she go on here? Oh, there, okay. Okay.
It's okay if you don't see
Hold
that.
on. trying to figure out how to work my Chromebook. It's all crazy.
Yeah, you know, then that'll be part of the learning journey, right? The kids are trying to
Yeah.
figure this out. And that's why it's kind of good to practice now. So you can see, okay, what kind of trouble am I having? Because you're the student. So as the student, what trouble are you having? So you can better troubleshoot when your kids have the same issue if you decide to try this.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, so where was the code again?
Yeah, it's right up here in the left-hand corner. It'll pop,
Oh, there it
you can
is.
pop it up or you can, it'll always be in that corner,
You got
KGSUV.
it. KGSUV.
Are you guys
did yours-
together?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can kind of
We're-
hear you talking to each other.
Yeah, we're distanced apart, but we're but
Well,
we're
it's good.
together.
Yeah, it's good to do it together. That's what we're all missing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I see 2 of you. So do you guys need more time or is it good? Are you going to play together? Do you guys need more time or for one more person to log in or are you going to play together? Is there Deborah, Gianna? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So the way this works, guys, is it's about myth busting. So I'm going to ask you some questions in the format of a poll, and I want you to answer the questions in this poll. Just answer what you think in the poll. And so this is a way for me to understand what are your preconceptions about weather and climate. What myths may you believe in. And that's okay because we just want to know what our kids think. Myth busting is fun because it's part of science, right? Coming up with theories and beliefs that aren't true. So it's a good way to talk about, you know, how we figure out something isn't true. All right, so this first one here, I'm going to change the student view. So you guys are going to go in and you're going to tell me whether this statement is a myth or a fact. So just read the statement. You're going to have 15 seconds and you're just going to tell me if it's a myth or a fact. Okay? So it's pretty simple. I don't think you're going to need the 15 seconds. I'm going to have to stick to the teacher view and I'm going to make you invisible so you don't feel embarrassed. You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, myth or fact? Heat lightning, or the distant flashes of lightning you see in the sky during summer months, happen because it is hot outside. Is that a myth or is that a fact? And again, your kids won't be seeing this teacher view unless you are projecting it. But this is what it looks like as a teacher. So if you guys want to be able to see that view, I wonder if I lost them, Donald.
Might have.
I'm still
Oh,
here.
you're still there. Okay.
She's got it pulled up on her screen, but like, because she's working on the regular computer. I'm still trying to, every time I go to another tab, it's like I lose you and I got to find you again. So
Okay.
I'm just going to watch on her screen.
Okay, no worries. So, Gianna, am I saying your name right? Gina, or is it Gianna?
Gina.
Gina. So Gina, are you able to see the poll? Were you able to see it that first time?
Yeah, I saw the poll. See, here I am.
I don't have my thing on.
Yeah, we.
So hold on, here we go. Hi.
Hi.
I saw the poll, but by the time I clicked on it, it said that the time was up.
Okay, so 15 seconds may be too short. So that's good for me to know for next time. So we're gonna do 3 more. So see if you can get to them before the 15 seconds is up. It's a little bit,
Okay.
there's a timer to help keep your kids on track for the synchronous learning. So but you can adjust it to 30 seconds or 1 minute. When I had it 30 seconds live, the teachers got really bored. They would just sit around twiddling their thumbs, waiting for it to stop. So, but I think in this learning environment, you may need to give them a little bit more time. That's good. Again, we're learning together. Okay, so this particular one, we the 100% believe that this is a fact, and we're not gonna say who it is. We're just gonna say, again, we think it's a fact. So there's an idea that we've gotten about weather. Here's another one. Hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones are the same type of storm that occur in different parts of the world. So you have 15 seconds to say whether that is a fact or a myth. So on your poll, click fact or myth if you think hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones are the same type of storm that occur in different parts of the world. So you've got 7 seconds left to answer. Your little timer's going in the corner.
Fact or myth?
So you just click which one you think is true. So that time, it didn't look like anyone got their answer in, unfortunately. Oh, you both did. Oh, good. Okay, wonderful. So it looks like 100% think that that is a fact as well. So I'm just sort of, getting your information together, finding out what you guys know, what you think about weather. Again, great scientific processes, right? This is like a poll. We're doing some theories. All right, the next one. The Earth is farthest from the sun in January, causing colder winter temperatures. Is that a fact or a myth? So I'm going to start it. 3, 2, 1. Fact or myth? The Earth is farthest from the sun in January, causing colder winter temperatures. And imagine you've got a whole group of kids doing this, and they're, I made them anonymous. They don't have to be embarrassed if you show the teacher view, but you may not want to show it because it might influence their answers. But it looks like you can't see what people are answering, so it's good. Yep, so you don't actually see what they answer till after. So this is good 50-50. So this is great. So half of my students think that it's true and half think that it's a myth.
Okay, on my computer, when, I don't know if I'm in the wrong view or what, but when it's doing the 3, 2, 1 to show the question,
Uh-huh.
I don't have the question up there before that.
Right, because you're my student. So I'm showing you the teacher view so you can see what it looks like if you were to do this as the teacher.
Okay, I'm on the student view then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you guys are kind of seeing both. So if you want to do this with your kids, this is what they're seeing. If you want to do it as yourself, this is what you're seeing. So I'm trying to kind of show you both. It's a little confusing now, but I wanted you to practice in case you want to do something like this.
Okay.
Okay, so the last one, I think this is the last one, same thing, fact or myth. Lightning can strike someone standing as far as 10 miles away from a storm. So 3, 2, 1, fact or myth. Lightning can strike someone standing as far as 10 miles away from a storm. You have 10 seconds left to answer. How is that 15 seconds working now? Is it still not enough?
Is it?
It's still pretty fast.
Okay, so the next setting is 30 seconds. So maybe if you do this with your kids, maybe set it at 30 or even a minute.
Okay.
All right, so again, we have 50-50. So half of my students think it's a fact and half thinks it's a myth. So see how it's a great exercise to find out what your kids know about weather beforehand, what kind of, common myths they may have brought into the classroom. And it's all part of the scientific process, right? Okay, so now what's gonna happen is we're going to watch a video called Myth Busting. It's debunking some weather myths, and we're gonna find out whether or not you guys, the myths that you believe in are true or not, or the facts that we stated are true or not. the statements. And so they'll help you learn through this. And then at the end, we're going to do matching, and you're going to match the true statements to the false and the false statements. So basically, you've gone in with your myths. You're going to get your myths debunked. And then at the end, I want you to show me what you learned from debunking the myths. Does that make sense? So it's a little engaging. So here comes the video about what we just did the poll on.
Inside Science TV.
Not everything you hear, see, or read is true. So we're here to debunk some popular weather myths. Things about weather that you might think are true, but are completely false. Myth number 1. Heat lightning. Distant vow. Wrong. The truth is, you're actually seeing lightning from a storm that's really far away. Since most severe thunderstorms often happen during hot summer months, the name heat lightning stuck.
So there's one common myth. I think growing up, we all heard that. You know, I know my parents would say, oh, there's heat lightning, you know, it's summer. And so it's a common myth that our kids might come into the classroom with. And so we know that it's actually not true. And so as we learn more about weather and what causes lightning, then we'll learn more about that. So it's just, again, a good way to do it backwards, to kind of show them where we're generally wrong about things and how we figured it out.
Myth number 2. The Earth is farthest from the sun in January. Not true. It's winter time in the US and cold out, but it's actually closest to the sun this time of year. But the US, which is on the northern hemisphere, is tilted slightly away from the sun during January, making it colder. Myth number 3. Hurricanes and typhoons are different kinds of storms. Wrong. They're the same, but just called typhoons in the Western Pacific.
Now for this one, you guys will notice that I changed it a little bit and made it a true statement. So because you don't want to make them all myths, right, for the poll. So for this one, I said hurricanes and typhoons are the same storm in different areas of the world. So it's just a way to take this and kind of twist it a little bit. So some are true and some are false.
And by the way, they're called cyclones in the Indian Ocean. Myth number 4. Clouds coming out of airplanes are crazy chemicals. No, it's just basic physics. It's warm air from the engines being chilled by the atmosphere and producing condensation that you can see, just like when you breathe out on a cold day. Myth number 5. Lightning only strikes close to a storm. Wrong. Lightning can strike as far as 5 to 10 miles from the storm, so don't underestimate your risk of being struck by lightning. The odds of being struck by lightning in your lifetime are 1 in 12,000. The odds of hitting the Powerball lottery, 1 in 175 million. You're more likely to get hit by lightning. This is Inside Science TV. We're setting the record straight on false weather facts.
Inside Science TV.
So this video, again, it comes with some support materials, you know, handouts and further information. You can download it, but if you don't necessarily, you know, have it inside a lesson plan, you can still do something like this, engaging around a teaching strategy that you can create in Nearpod or some other platform. All right, so now you guys get to show me the results. So what you're gonna do now is match. So what I did before was a poll that's free in Nearpod. If you sign up for a free Nearpod account, you can get free polls. Matching is also free. So what it looks like is it's going to say statement number 1, and you have to decide if that statement number 1 is a fact or a myth. You'll have to match it with either fact number 1 or myth number 1. And then you'll see statement number 2, and you have to decide if that is a fact or a myth. Match it with, you know, fact or myth. So just match the numbers to the numbers. There are 3 statements or 4 statements, and then there are 4 different choices of fact or myth. Does that make sense? So you can do this over and over again. So if you do it once with your kids and it's kind of hard the first time, do the same activity over and over again so they get really good at this whole myth debunking thing, and it won't be as hard the first, the second, and third time. All right, so you guys have a minute and a half for this one to match the 4 statements to either fact or myth. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, based on what you learned from the video. And then while you're doing it, I can see as a teacher, while you guys are doing it as students, I can see as a teacher how many matches you made and how many tries it took you to do it. So you guys have a minute left. And if you want, you can give some prizes or something. I don't know how you would do a virtual prize, but you can pick, you know, the students that did the most matches with the fewest tries. When I do this in person, I usually will give out GPB swag, you know, for the top teachers just to make it more competitive. Or you can just keep that information to yourself and use it as like a little assessment or just an idea of what kids learned from the video. So you guys have 15 seconds.
We don't know what we're doing.
You click on one and then you click on the other to match. Click, click, click.
Okay. Or maybe claim one goes with fact one.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about, yeah, so when you click on one and click on the matching, it turns green. I should have told you guys that before. So were you able to do any matches or that was too late?
It was too late, but now we know how to do it. So that's
Okay. All right.
One and waiting and.
Sorry. Yeah. So that might, again, as a teacher, that's a good thing to know now that you've experienced it. But you have to tell your kids to click on one, then click on the other to match them. All right. So that's just, again, like an engaging way to get kids in a virtual environment to show what they know ahead of time, what they learned from the video, and then give them a little fun assessment. And even though that is kind of a younger video, I think it's appropriate for middle school because you're just kind of getting them to process the information. Any thoughts on that, guys?
No, I mean, it's a great resource to have for sure.
And I just built that myself. It wasn't that hard. I just took the information and built it into polls and into matching. It took maybe 10 minutes on Nearpod.
Okay.
All right, so last thing I want to show you guys in the last 5 minutes is grab and go interactives, as Donald mentioned. So there are a lot of lesson plans that have been made already in PBS Learning Media, so you don't have to create anything. You can just assign them to your kids. And of course, they're already aligned to the standards. So here's one called The Structure and Scale of the Solar System. And it says grade 6 through 9, so it's appropriate, and it is standards alignments here. So to assign it, you would just hit share to Google Classroom, and that's how you would share it with your kids, and then they would get something that looks like this. So I'm gonna launch it. You can see it as a guest, but you can't get student work unless they're actually, you know, logged in with their Google. So you can see it's 9 pages long, and the menu here tells you what's on each page. There's an introduction, what you'll learn, characteristics of the sun, why doesn't the moon fall down, planet sizes, all the way through the final assignment on the last page. And in this folder called My Work is where the student's work is saved, so that they want to just do a couple pages a day. They don't have to do the whole thing. It'll save their work as they move through the lesson. So here's the introduction here. You can see this is what they'll see. This is the student view. So what's the solar system? How can you comprehend its size? It tells them what they're going to be learning, comparing about the planets and the moons and the other objects in the solar system. And you just move to the second page after they've gotten that. Talks about what they'll learn, the big ideas, and you know, here's a little image for them. So again, that's just really the introduction. And then it gets into the lesson plan on page 3. So it talks about the characteristics of the sun. It says, watch this video. When you're done, think about how you would describe the sun compared to the earth and write your answer. So this text here that answers that question is what you will see in Google Classroom, their text. That's page 3. Page 4, you know, here's another thing. Why doesn't the moon fall down? There's another short video here, 1.5 minutes long. And again, this question, why don't planets crash into the sun from the pull of gravity? Write what they learned here in their own words. Page 5 talks about planet sizes. There's an image for them to look at. You can blow up the image and see, you know, the difference in the sizes of the planets. And then answer this other this box right here, describe similarities and differences that you see in that image. So again, it's just already created for you. Now it gets into the fun stuff. It gets a little deeper. So this is a solar system concept map, and you play this thing called Arrange It, and you arrange the planets in order from their distance from the sun. So you hit the Arrange It button. Here's the instructions. Drag planet names and labels into the appropriate places. And then you can go, and they will have to go into these boxes here. And so they have to drag, you know, which ones are largest, where they go, and it would drag them into, you know, the different boxes. And then when they're done, they can submit it, or if they don't like their answers, they can clear it and start all over. So it's a great little arranged thing here. And here's all the different planets here that they have to put into their little planet boxes. Does that make sense? So I really like these drag it. They're a lot of fun. So that's page 6.
I do too. I think those are great. You know, helps the kids see the flow of the ideas there. I think it's good stuff.
Yeah. And then here's something that they can even do at home. It talks about how coffee beans in little balls, you know, are kind of one way to, peppercorns, way to think about the difference in the planet sizes. They can enter their text in response to the question. Then page 8. Here's another video just about measuring distance and another question. And then the last page is going to wrap it all up with a final assignment. So they get to choose one of the 4 to do a travel brochure, you know, planet or moon to study, a scale model. And so this is something they can do at home, or you can even, part of the rubric, part of the assignment, you can say, I want you guys to do, this group do assignment 1, this group do assignment 2, or you can say, I only want you to do this assignment, or just let them go with it. So again, it's just a lesson plan already created for you. And if you like it and you think it would help your kids, you can just assign it through Google Classroom, get their work back, and that's all that's required. So there are a few like that. So that was about the solar system. This is about continental drift, another one that's aligned to your standards. And this one is about eclipses. Why isn't there an eclipse every month? So again, another one that aligns to your standards. And they're all pretty similar. They have different activities, different links, different features. This particular one about the eclipse, I like this one because it had text to speech on it. So for kids who may have some literacy challenges, it'll read it to them.
In this lesson, you will explore how the relative motions and positions of the moon, the sun, and earth produce eclipses.
So a lot of the lesson plans do have that text to speech. You can also do that, of course, as a Google add-on, but that's one feature. Some of them are even translated into Spanish, so they'll have a Spanish and English version. And you can find those by when you do a search here in PBS Learning Media. So here I am in PBS. If I just pull up, you know, a search here, I'm just going to go ahead and search by, let's search by Earth Science. And click on Earth Science. I'm going to filter here by type, and I'm going to choose interactive lesson. And I see there are 44 lessons on Earth Science. I can also filter by grade, of course, if I just want to do like maybe 5th, 6th, 7th. And so it narrows down a little bit, 21 lessons. And so that's another way that you can also narrow it down and find it. Okay, so that is pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. It is 12:30, so we've gone through GPB and PBS, all of the content. Remember that it is available to you on this document as well. So I'm going to share the Nearpod with you that we did, so you can just go through it if you want. But also everything we explored is on this resource list. So you can just go back and click into these. There's NOVA again, space-time we looked at, so just click on the links, it'll take you there as well. And of course, feel free to reach out to me anytime. There's my email address, my Twitter handle. I'm happy to help you guys at any time throughout the school year. Thank you for tuning in on a very busy day.
Okay, thank you.
And Donald, did you want to wrap up with anything before?
Thank you guys. Y'all holler.